What's up, guys? We are back with a full NBA slate here on Tuesday, December 3rd. We're going to break down every game and look at bets on the side and over-under. And once injury news is confirmed, I'll be adding player props in the pinned comment for several of these games, so don't forget to check back in the early afternoon. Monday night went pretty well, guys. We nailed our Monday Night Football pick a bit on a little bit of a backdoor there. We had Denver -6, but we will take the win for sure. Cortland Sutton over 59.5 receiving yards, another win. Put that one on the board. Jameis Winston getting picked off. That felt like a lock. Nailed that one. It was -145, so not the most value, but certainly one we will take. We did have the Heat out there in the NBA at +10.5. They played terrible. Boston played pretty bad too, had some guys missing and so on and so forth, but Miami just couldn't keep it close. We did nail the Timberwolves though at -6. We got on that one early and they ended up winning that game, walking away. So a pretty good night overall. 4-1. We'll certainly take that. If you want to win all of your bets today, hit that like button. It's good luck and shows support for the channel and all the hard work we're putting in every single day. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily content. You can now also sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. I really appreciate the support from all of you. Seeing that badge next to your comments makes me feel like this work is all worth it. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today and we will give you our best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. We've got the Philadelphia 76ers going on the road to take on the Charlotte Hornets. 76ers come into this game fresh off a 111-96 win there at Detroit. They're still having a very rough time, only 4-14 on the year. Things have not been smooth sailing here for the 76ers this year. Basically, as bad as things can go, they have gone. We saw Paul George come back. He played in this game, guys. He was technically out there. He was playing for 26 minutes. He scored 11 points. He was a +30, but the dude was 4 of 12 from the field. He had 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 turnovers. Just not a very good shooting night out there for Paul George, so not super stoked about how he's looked. We saw Tyrese Maxey. He played well, a +25 out there, 28 points from him, so good things happening in general, but yeah, I'm not throwing a parade for this team yet, guys. They are not out of the woods. Getting a win over the Pistons, who have been a tough out at times this season, is nice, but they've got a long way to go. I'm going to need to see a healthy Joel Embiid before I'm ready to throw any sort of parade here for the 76ers. Coming into this game, we see Embiid is going to be out for this one. We see Caleb Martin on the injury report as well. Kyle Lowry going to be out. We're not too worried about that, but yeah, Caleb Martin with his back issue is probable for this game, so apparently he's going to play. I'm not saying I'm super stoked about this situation for the 76ers, but they're getting a little bit healthier. Paul George made it through that game. He came back from that hyperextended knee faster than I thought he would, so I guess things are pointing in the right direction if you're a 76ers fan, but honestly, guys, the vibes are not great right now. I am concerned. I am concerned for this team for sure. Their opponent in this game, the Charlotte Hornets, they've had a rough time as well recently. They're having some bad injury luck. They've lost 5 in a row. They come into this game fresh off a nail-biter of a loss, losing 107-104 against the Hawks. They've played some very close games lately, not losing any of their last 3 by more than a couple points, so they're keeping it close. They're being competitive, but yeah, missing LaMelo Ball is a rough look. In that close loss there against the Hawks, we saw pretty good stuff out there from Brandon Miller, 32 points from him. The bench also looked okay. As a team, we saw Charlotte shoot almost 40% from 3. They did well at the free throw line. They kept things basically even on the boards, but just not quite enough offense out there. They just couldn't slow down the Hawks enough there at the end of the game. Atlanta did have a slight rebounding edge, and Charlotte just not with all the juice they need right now in these games. They're super banged up. We see LaMelo Ball out. We see Miles Bridges out. We see Mark Williams out. Trey Mann is also out. And are all these guys still going to be missing this game here on Tuesday? Well, LaMelo definitely going to be out. He's going to be out there for a bit. Miles Bridges, he's officially been ruled out for this game. Mark Williams with a foot injury, that ongoing situation there for him, he is questionable for this one. So there's a chance he plays. And Trey Mann, guys, he will remain sidelined for this game. He is dealing with a back situation that seems relatively serious. So yeah, not going to be the full strength Charlotte Hornets here, and that's why they're getting 5 points playing at home against a terrible team in the Philadelphia 76ers. We got an over-under of only 209. The 76ers are 3-6 against the spread on the road. They are 9-9 to the over-under. Charlotte 8-4 against the spread at home. They are 13-7 to the under, an NBA best number to the under. I'm not taking under 209, guys. That's just not going to happen. So not interested in the over-under. if you're begging me for a side in this game, I do like the Hornets here at +5 a little bit, but far from a lock for me. Charlotte is way too banged up for this game, and despite how bad the 76ers are playing, I think they probably managed to get a win here. I just think it might be a little bit close, but this game is a stay away spot for me. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Washington Wizards. They're going on the road to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Wizards come into this game fresh off of another loss. They've now lost 14 in a row. They went all of November without winning a game. They just lost 124 to 114 at Milwaukee. Now they've got to go on the road and take on the Cavaliers in that, very lopsided loss there against the Milwaukee Bucks. We did see Malcolm Brogdon, pop off a little bit, putting up 29 points. Jordan Poole scored 31. So basically all this is really telling me is that Milwaukee defense is still absolutely trash. But the Wizards managed to score 114 points despite only shooting 9 of 32 there from three-point range. 41 rebounds, so they had a slight rebounding edge, but really not a ton of positives to report here. I mean, I guess Jordan Poole and Malcolm Brogdon playing well is nice, but this is a rough look for this team. They're not having a good time. Alexander Sarr not looking amazing out there, so that's a little bit of the hope of the franchise that's not, really looking great in his rookie season. Corey Kispert, 16 points, but he was a -15. He's been playing well off the bench, so I guess that's a slight positive, but they had no answer out there for the Bucks on defense. Couldn't slow down Giannis, couldn't slow down Dame, and could not defend the three-point line. So could be a little bit of a tough look here as they go on the road to take on Cleveland. Washington does come into this game relatively healthy. It appears Kyle Kuzma going to be out for this game. Yeah, that rib issue has him officially ruled out for this one, as Washington just continues to tank things out. They're not going to be, hustling anybody back here. Cleveland, on the other hand, they do come into this game in a little bit of a letdown spot, fresh off a 115 to 111 win there over the Boston Celtics. So good stuff from the Cavaliers. Obviously, a big game for them to come out on top against Boston. We saw great stuff there from Donovan Mitchell. He put up 35 points, 22 from Darius Garland. As a team, we saw the Cavs shoot 47.2% from three-point range. That'll definitely work. They kept things even on the boards, but it wasn't really the full strength Boston Celtics guys. I mean, no Jaylen Brown out there is a big difference maker, and I mean, the Cavaliers will still take it for sure, but a little bit of a hollow victory coming away with a win against a team that didn't have all of their important pieces. So they'll still take it, though. Like I said, a couple double-digit scores coming off the bench. Having Karis LeVert back definitely helps this team a lot, and they just had a great night shooting the ball. So we'll see if they can get up for this game against, a pretty bad opponent here. Cleveland's relatively healthy coming into this one. Dean Wade still out. Ty Jerome listed as questionable for this one, dealing with an illness. So we'll see if he makes it back in time for this game. Cleveland, massive favorites in this one. They're -16. We've got an over-under of 236. Washington, 3-5-1 against the spread on the road. Cleveland, 9-3 against the spread at home. Cleveland's also 13-8 to the over. So if you wanted to take a look at over 236, you could talk me into that probably. I don't know if I'm interested in taking the Cavaliers here at -16. Backing the Wizards feels so bad, and they're coming off of a game where they shot the ball well, so they're probably in a letdown spot themselves. If you're forcing me for a side here, give me the Cavaliers at -16, but I think the better value in this one is probably just going ahead and playing that over. Next on this crowded Tuesday slate, guys, we've got the Milwaukee Bucks. They're going on the road to take on the Detroit Pistons. The Bucks come into this game playing some of their best ball of the season. They've won 6 straight games. They just won 124 to 114 in that, win we were just talking about over the Wizards. So good stuff there from Milwaukee. They have resurrected their season. It was getting real bleak. We were hearing, time to trade Dame and Giannis and start a rebuild there for Milwaukee. All of a sudden, they're starting to be, whispered around that they're going to be buyers here at the trade deadline. So we'll see what happens. A 124 to 114 win over Washington. We're not going to throw you a parade, but we did see very good stuff from Giannis. He continues to dominate out there. A triple-double with 42 points. Pretty wild stuff. We liked what we saw from Dame in that win. Brook Lopez is starting to play a little bit better. So just a lot of positives out there. In a night they shot the lights out from 3 against a terrible team. So let's not overreact too much. But AJ Green putting up 13 points off the bench. Bobby Portis putting up 9 points on his own. A lot of good things going on for the Bucks in that game, and they do come into this one a little bit banged up still. I mean, it depends on what you mean by banged up. I mean, Chris Middleton is still going to be out. Taurean Prince and Giannis both on the injury report as well. When are we going to see Chris Middleton back? Hard to know. He's not going to be for this game, though. Taurean Prince, he's probable, so I guess we'll see him. That right quadriceps bruise there, or contusion, not going to be a big deal. And we see Giannis on the injury report, guys, all the freaking time. He's probable for this one, dealing with an illness and his ongoing knee issue. Apparently, he's very likely to play in this game. So we'll see what he can do on the road here against the Detroit Pistons, who come into this game 9-13 on the season. So having a much improved time, as opposed to last season. But they are coming off a loss against the 76ers. That doesn't look great in that game, guys. I mean, a 111-96 loss, not ideal, especially against, not a full-strength 76ers team. We did see decent stuff from Malik Beasley. He shot the ball pretty efficiently. Jaden Ivey, tough shooting night, still put up 15 points, but Cade Cunningham not being out there for this team is a huge deal. He's dealing with that pelvic strain, so we'll see if he's back for this one. It certainly looks like they need him. Also, they need to shoot the ball better from three. 11 of 40, not really going to get the job done. In terms of their injury report, it does appear that Cade is healthy, going to be back for this one. He's not even on the injury report, and overall, the Pistons are looking very healthy for this game, so that's a great sign. They're only getting 3.5 points here playing at home. We've got an over-under of 223.5. Milwaukee, 3-5 against the spread on the road. They're at 11-8 to the under. Detroit, 4-6 against the spread at home. They are 13-9 to the under. And with a total here of 223.5, both teams showing significant trends towards the under. I would lean towards under 223.5. I think we'll see offense be at a little bit of a premium in this game. And on that same side of the coin, guys, I think that means we need to be looking at the Detroit Pistons at plus 3.5. I think Milwaukee, this run has to come to an end at some point with Detroit being healthy here, right now. That definitely seems like this is going to be a kind of a stumbling block situation here for the Bucks. And earlier this season, it did, these two teams played and it went into overtime back in mid-November. So maybe we see another very close game down the stretch. And if it's going to be a close game, we definitely want to be on the side that's getting the points. Next up, guys, we've got our first nationally televised game. The Orlando Magic are going on the road to take on the New York Knicks on TNT. The Magic come into this game playing great, guys. They've won 6 in a row, and they've went on just an absolute heater. The absence of Paolo Banchero is not slowing them down, thanks to Franz Wagner playing out of his freaking mind. They're fresh off of a 100-92 win against the Brooklyn Nets, and they won both games there in Brooklyn, just playing great. This team plays really well together. They've got a bona fide superstar in Franz Wagner. They have another one in Paolo Banchero whenever he comes back. Wendell Carter Jr. played well in the win, guys. He was 5 of 5 from the field in his 28 minutes. We also saw, very good KCP being back, scoring 16 points, posting a plus 14. The bench looked okay, not as good as it normally does, guys. Anthony Black, a decent night. Mo Wagner, decent night as well. Not maybe up to his normal standards, but I mean, 16 minutes, he had 12 points and 8 rebounds. Like, bro was hooping out there. So we love what we're seeing from Orlando right now. They're relatively healthy coming into this game. Obviously, no Paolo Banchero. Gary Harris also out. So we'll see when those guys eventually come back. That could make, it's going to be a pretty big boost. You get Paolo Banchero back, and whenever he's at full strength. But love what we're seeing right now from Orlando as they go on the road to take on the Knicks, who are playing well themselves. They're 12-8 on the season. They've won 3 out of their last 4. Although, let's not freak out too much about wins over the Pelicans, Hornets, a loss against the Mavs, and a win against the Denver Nuggets. There's some decent ones in there, but let's not freak out too much. In that win against the Pelicans, it was just the Pelicans, guys, so there's not a ton we can draw from that, but Mikal Bridges shooting the ball well, scoring 31 points. That's got to feel great if you're a Knicks fan or a Knicks player or anybody interested in the Mikal Bridges situation, because the bro has been struggling this season, but he's figuring it out. He seems like he's found that jump shot a little bit. We'll see if that, can continue here. Miles McBride putting up 13 points and a plus 18 off the bench. Has to feel great having him back. Really improves this bench unit a ton. This Knicks team lost some depth there, doing some trades and with some guys still not back. So we'll see how that goes down the stretch, but I'm expecting solid stuff here from the Knicks. Obviously, OG Anunoby, he had a rough shooting night. He's in a bounce back spot. Cat shot the ball really poorly as well. I don't think they were super locked in to be going up against the Pelicans, to be honest. And they didn't need to be. They got a blowout win and cover. So we'll definitely, definitely like what we're seeing from the Knicks. They come to this game fully healthy. Obviously, Precious Achiuwa and Mitchell Robinson is still going to be sidelined, but it seems like Precious Achiuwa getting closer and closer to playing. He's, still dealing with that hamstring issue. No reason to hurry him back. You want him fully healthy for the long run this season. So looking at the numbers here, guys, the Knicks are -5. We've got an over-under of 214.5. Orlando 6-7 against the spread on the road. They are 12-10 to the under. The Knicks 4-3-1 against the spread at home. They are 11-9 to the over. Guys, I really like the Orlando Magic here getting 5 points. I'm not too interested in that over-under. Maybe a shade towards over 214.5 would be reasonable, but I think this is definitely a spot you want to be on the Magic and the points. I mean, they're just playing way too well right now. I don't see this being a blowout game, really in either direction with the kind of defense the Magic can play. They've got the height and, everything they need to, defend here against the Knicks. So give me Orlando in this one. I think we're going to see a knockdown, drag-out fight. This is a game I cannot wait to watch, and I want to be on the Magic and the points in this one. Next up, we're looking at the Indiana Pacers. They're going on the road to take on the Toronto Raptors. The Pacers are having a rough time this season. They're 9-12 on the year. They come into this game losers of 2 in a row. They just lost at the Grizzlies 136-121, so that can't feel great. The last time these two teams faced each other was back on 11-18. So November 18th, we saw the Raptors take a 130-119 win in that game. So yeah, the Pacers can't have a ton of confidence coming into this one. It's just been a no good, just flat out bad season for them. In that 136-121 loss, we didn't love much that we saw from Indiana, to be honest. I mean, Mathurin, 19 points, a decent day from him. Halliburton right back down to the gutter, guys, only 8 points, a -6 for him. He had 7 assists, a couple turnovers, and dude just cannot shoot the ball very well this season. It's been quite the fall off from him. TJ McConnell putting up 15 points off the bench, kind of the lone bright spot for this team, but really just a bad night there from Indiana, and they got kind of blown out despite shooting 14 of 42 from 3. Not amazing, but not horrible. They kept things even on the boards, and it was just a rough night out there. They turned the ball over 15 times, only forced 10 turnovers there out of Memphis. So yeah, Indiana gonna have to play better here. They're still dealing with some injuries. We've got Nembhard and Nesmith both on the injury report. Nembhard, guys, he's listed as questionable for this game, so he could theoretically be back. Nesmith, he's dealing with an ankle issue and is still weeks away from coming back to game action, so we are not going to be seeing him for quite some time. So they're going to be missing him here going on the road to take on the Raptors, who are 6-15 on the year, winners of 2 out of their last 3. They just got a 119-116 win there against the Miami Heat. They also had a nice win against the Pelicans, but it's the Pelicans, so we're not going to overreact to that. This is a pretty interesting Raptors team, guys. I think they might be too good to tank unless they start having some dudes just sit out games flat out, like faking injury or whatever they've got to do. But in that win over the Heat, 37 points from RJ Barrett. He's on an absolute heater right now. 23 points from Scotty Barnes. He's playing really well in his return. He was only 1 assist shy there of a triple-double. Just great stuff from the starters there from Toronto in general. The bench is still struggling. Davion Mitchell, a +20, but only 7 points. Chris Boucher, 8 points and a +17. So they're heading in the right direction. Don't get me wrong. They had a slight rebounding edge. They shot 34.5% from three-point range, which was enough to get the job done. And just a very good team right now, and they're not even at full strength. Like if Emmanuel Quickly was out there, this is a team that can get better and better. So we'll see if that happens this season, or we'll see if they really lean into the tank here and keep holding people out. Also missing guys, Grady Dick, he's been missing time. Bruce Brown's been missing time. Grady Dick, he is dealing with that calf issue. He is questionable for this game, and Bruce Brown, he's already been, he's trying to come back. He's ramping up his conditioning. Apparently, he could be back for this game, but it seems like a bit of a long shot to me. So looking at the numbers for this game, we see it's basically a coin flip. The Raptors are getting 1.5 points here at home. We've got an over-under of 238.5. The Pacers are only 3-8 against the spread on the road. They are 15-6 to the over. That's an NBA best to the over mark. Toronto 7-2 against the spread at home. They are 11-10 to the over. This is a tight game, a close situation, but I'm leaning towards the Toronto Raptors here at +1.5. Something in Indiana feels broken so far this season. I don't trust them here. Do I fully trust the Raptors? Fully seems like a strong word, but I do trust them more than I trust the Pacers right now, and they're healthier. In terms of that over-under of 238.5, probably have to lean a little bit towards the over. Not an over-under spot that I'm going to be playing, but this Raptors pick has a chance to end up in the pinned comment. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Utah Jazz. They're going on the road here to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Jazz come into this one fresh off of a 1-point loss there against the Lakers. Yeah, Utah doing a very good job of tanking this season at only 4-16 overall. In that loss against the Lakers, they kept things super close, but didn't go over the edge there, just managing to take the 1-point loss. They had no answers for LeBron or Anthony Davis. They lost this game despite the Lakers shooting only 21.2% from three-point range. Did not love what we saw from from the Jazz in terms of just, I don't know, guys. It's tough to put your finger on it, but it's very clear this team not really trying to win games. They did see, we saw Markkanen play well, 22 points from him, 21 from John Collins. A couple guys I wish I could see, actually competing for something here. Keontae George, 14 points. Like, the starters all looked good. The bench looked pretty suspect there. A lot of big negative numbers there for the bench. They lost this game despite shooting 35% from three and having a slight rebounding edge. They also had 27 assists. It's tough. It's tough to see these tanking teams, guys. I wish we didn't have tanking in the NBA, but that's just part of life. So we'll see what Utah can do in this spot. I mean, they come into this game relatively healthy. We still see Filipowski and Jordan Clarkson both pretty likely to miss this game. Clarkson has been ruled out for this one, and we'll see if Filipowski, his lower leg issue is going to keep him out as well. So not going to have either one of those guys, but yeah, the Jazz, they're managing to lose games. They've kept a lot of them competitive. We'll see if they keep this one competitive against the Thunder, who are in a bounce-back spot, fresh off a 119-116 loss there at the Houston Rockets. In that game, guys, we saw SGA play really well, putting up 32 points, but it was a tough 32. Jalen Williams at 22 points, but only 7 of 21 from the field, so his shooting could use a little bit of work. Hartenstein continues to play amazing. 19 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, only 1 turnover, and he played great out there. No complaints from me about Hartenstein, and I don't think anybody from the Thunder would complain either. OKC lost this game. I mean, it was a tough one down the stretch. They had a rebounding deficit there, so that was a struggle, and yeah, they just could not stop the Houston Rockets when they needed to down the stretch. It was a very good game to watch, though. Hope you guys caught some of that one. Very solid stuff down the stretch from the Houston Rockets. The Thunder, though, they're definitely going to be a little bit ticked off. They lost that game. They come into this one healthy, obviously with the, clear, problems there of Caruso not playing and Chet Holmgren still remaining out. But other than that, they're going to be good to go for this one. The Thunder are 14.5-point favorites playing at home. We've got an over-under of 224 out there. Utah actually 5-4 against the spread on the road. They are 12-8 to the under. OKC 5-5 against the spread at home. They are 11-9 to the under. Guys, I think this is a great spot to take the Utah Jazz and the points. 14.5, a ton of points. They're healthy. They've been keeping games competitive. They really have too much talent to completely bottom out here. They're going to need Markkanen to get hurt again, or John Collins to get hurt, and they just need people to be held out of this lineup if they want to be bad and have the best chance there in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. So go ahead and give me the Jazz and the points in this one. In terms of the over-under, not really any interest there. This is just a good spot to be on Utah. Next up, we've got the Memphis Grizzlies. They're going on the road here to take on the Dallas Mavericks. The Grizzlies come into this game 14-7 on the year, quietly having a very good season. They've now won, 6 in a row. Very good stuff. A 136-121 win there over the Pacers. They haven't been playing the toughest schedule recently, I'll give you that, but they are taking care of business, and it has to feel pretty good for a team that's, had some struggles and some injuries and stuff like that, but right now all cylinders are firing. Everything's looking good. Jaren Jackson Jr., 25 points in the win. Ja Morant, 19, 16 there from Bane. As a team, they shot only 34.8% from three, so definitely room to improve. They didn't play the best defense. I mean, giving up 121 points isn't great, but they really limited Halliburton, cooled him off after a hot game, did a good job of limiting the damage there from Siakam, and they battled there on the boards. They did a decent job getting to the line, and we saw very good stuff there from the bench. We had 3 double-digit scores coming off the pine there for the Grizzlies, so a lot of things pointed in the right direction right now for Memphis. They come into this one relatively healthy, I would say. I mean, we don't see anything too concerning. All the big hitters are going to be there, but other than the ED, things are looking pretty good. They'll need everyone here as they go on the road to take on the Dallas Mavericks, who have now won 4 in a row. They're coming off a 137-131 very narrow win there over the Portland Trailblazers, a game you would have kind of expected to be a blowout, but Luka came back. He was balling out there, 36 points for him in the win. I guess it was important for him to get his rhythm back, so he took 24 shots out there. Also, we had no Kyrie there for the Mavs in this game, so that can make things a little bit messy. Spencer Dinwiddie balled out there, 20 points off the bench, a plus 14 for him. So very, very good stuff. Gafford played well, and as a team, the Mavericks shot the lights out, 50% there from three-point range, 18 of 36. They needed to shoot the ball that well. They got out-rebounded here, and they played a very, very weak defense, allowing Portland to shoot nearly 60% from three-point range. So not necessarily a banner day there for the Mavericks, but they do end up coming away with a win. In terms of their injury report, Klay Thompson remains listed as out. Najee Marshall is out, which is obviously a big deal for this team. They need his production coming off the bench. Klay is technically questionable for this one, so we'll see if he comes back. Najee Marshall dealing with an illness. He's going to be out for this game against the Grizzlies. And Derek Lively, guys, he is questionable for this one. So we'll see if he comes back. A knee issue, probably not something you want to mess around with, but like I said, we will see what the Mavs decide to do here. Dallas, 4-point favorites in this game playing at home. We've got a huge total of 241. Memphis, 5-3 against the spread on the road this season. They are 14-7 to the over. Dallas, 6-4 against the spread at home. They are 12-9 to the over. I think this is a spot I want to be on the Grizzlies and the points. I think they have what it takes to slow down Dallas here. I mean, obviously we expect to see Kyrie Irving play in this game, so that makes it a little bit tougher, but I think Memphis has enough defense here to make things rough on the Mavs, and they've got plenty of offense to keep things close, especially if we could see a decent shooting night from Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. and John Morant. He's going to do his thing out there in a marquee game, so we expect very, very big things for this one. A little bit disappointed to not see this be a nationally televised game. In terms of that total of 241, that's a lot of points, but both teams showing a huge, or large at least, trends towards the over. So give me a little bit of a look at that over as well. Next up, guys, we're headed out west. We've got the San Antonio Spurs going on the road to take on the Phoenix Suns. The Spurs are now 11-9 on the season. They've very quietly won 5 out of their last 6 games, the only loss coming there against the Lakers. Very good stuff there for the Spurs in that win against the Kings their last time out, 127-125 there at Sacramento. We saw huge stuff there from Wemby. He put up 34 points. He was a plus 19 out there. Just great stuff. 3 blocks, 11 assists, 14 rebounds. So a monster triple-double. He shot the ball really well from 3. Not something you can always count on, but 5 of 9 from long range. And we saw San Antonio shoot a blistering 50% from 3-point range, 23 of 46 there from long range. Crazy, crazy stuff. 19 points there from Champagne. Just, crazy. The bench was great. I mean, Keldon Johnson, 3 of 4 from 3 for him, 17 points, 21 points from Devin Vassell. Like, this team, all of a sudden, now that they're looking healthier, is looking very, very good. They did a decent job defending the Kings. I'm not going to say elite. I mean, we saw 3 23-plus point scorers in the starting lineup there for the Kings who, just flat out don't look as good with DeMar DeRozan in the lineup. So we'll see what they can do about that, see if they can get it more into the swing of things. In terms of the injury report, we see Sohan marked as out. Trey Jones likely out for this game as well. Oh, no, it's apparently Sohan is probable for this game, which, to be honest, guys, makes me really think a lot less of the Spurs' chances. I think him being out for this team is very, very beneficial. I think he has a net negative effect on the Wembanyama experience. Trey Jones, he's been ruled out for this game against the Suns with that left shoulder sprain, so we won't see Trey Jones for this one, but going to be interesting to see what the Spurs do and how they look with Sohan back out there on the floor. To be honest, guys, I don't like that one bit as they go on the road to take on the Phoenix Suns, who come into this game fresh off of a nice 113-105 win there over the Warriors, who are now kind of skidding. We see the Suns, like I said, 11-8 on the season, so that's not bad. Booker, a massive day in that game. 28 points for him, or 27 points for him. 3 of 8 from deep. He got to the line with regularity against the Warriors there. The Suns really just shot the lights out. I mean, 18 of 35 from 3-point range. You're usually going to win the game when that happens. That a slight edge there on the boards. And a nice win there for Phoenix that they, could definitely use. In terms of their injury report, guys, we see Bradley Beal on there. We see Nurkic on there as well. Beal constantly on the injury report, guys. He's probable for this game with his calf issue, so we'll see if he actually does play. He hasn't played since back on the 27th, where he played 27 minutes there against the Brooklyn Nets and shot the ball relatively well, so we'll see what happens with him. Nurkic, guys, he is going to be reevaluated in a week, so he's going to be out at least the next, 7 to 10 days there, dealing with apparently a pretty bad right thigh contusion, but I don't think the Suns really care that much. The Nurkic experiment not going really as planned. Looking at the numbers, we see the Suns are minus 5.5 here at home. We've got an over-under of 229.5. The Spurs 4-4 against the spread on the road. They are 10-10 to the over-under. Phoenix only 3-8 against the spread at home and 11-8 to the over. To be honest, guys, this is a weird spot for me. I really think the Spurs plus 5.5 would have been a pinned comment play for me if it wasn't for the return of Sohan, who I just think has a negative impact on the way this team plays basketball. He can be a ball stopper. He's very controversial or very confrontational to the other team, and dirty plays, dirty fouls, like just not a guy that I think is beneficial to have out there for San Antonio. So I don't know if that's enough to push me all the way to the Suns minus 5.5. They are going to have Beal back, it looks like, for this game, but how much does that really matter? Slight lean here towards the Suns minus 5.5 with the Spurs in a bit of a letdown spot, but not a play that's going in the pinned comment. In terms of that over-under of 229.5, I'm going to lean a bit towards the over, but once again, guys, probably not a play that goes anywhere near the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Golden State Warriors. They're going on the road to take on the Denver Nuggets in our other nationally televised game there on TNT. The Warriors come into this one losers of 4 in a row. They lost a tough game there against the Spurs, a close one down the stretch against the Nets. Then they lost a very close game against the Thunder, and then they went on the road there at Phoenix, like we were just talking about, and could not get the job done. Curry played well in that game, like he's been doing pretty much all season long, although only 3 of 10 from three-point range, not his normal standard. He was a +4 though. Andrew Wiggins was a +12. He scored 18 points. The bench really didn't come through, guys. I mean, Buddy Hield 11 points in his 16 minutes. He was 2 of 4 there from three-point range, 12 points there from Kuminga, but he was very inefficient shooting the ball, and the Warriors as a team only shot 35% from 3, only made it to the line 18 times. That's usually not going to work out. They had a slight deficit there on the boards. Their assist numbers were not amazing, and yeah, they just could not quite get the job done down the stretch, despite making a nice comeback there in the second half. So yeah, tough stuff there from the Warriors. They also come into this game a little bit banged up. Steph is on the injury report. Draymond's on the injury report, and Steve Kerr saying it's doubtful that he's going to play there, dealing with a calf tightness, and yeah, considered doubtful to play in this game against the Nuggets. Curry, he's probable with his ongoing knee health management issue, so we'll see if he plays, but not looking like it's going to be the full strength Warriors. And if Draymond is out, that's obviously a big deal here as they go on the road to take on the Denver Nuggets, who are 10-8 on the season, kind of slogging their way through the year. They're fresh off of a 126-122 loss there at the LA Clippers, so that's not what you want to see if you are a Denver Nuggets fan. It's been a weird season. Jokic continues to play absolutely out of his mind. 28 points, 14 rebounds, 11 assists. Dominant stuff, but just not enough help there for him. We continue to see Jamal Murray come up, not small necessarily, but just not great. 18 points, 7 of 12 in 38 minutes. They need more from him. They need more from Michael Porter Jr. They need more from Peyton Watson. They need more from all these dudes. It's just not a very deep team outside of their top 3. And their top 3 aren't quite good. I mean, Aaron Gordon coming back, that is a big sign of positive things. Russell Westbrook's been playing well. They shot 41.7% from three-point range and lost to the Clippers. That cannot feel great, guys. They had a slight deficit there on the boards, but that's not why they lost. They just don't have enough contributors on this team, it feels like to me. So we'll see what they can do here. Playing at home, we see Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson on the injury report. Aaron Gordon, he's listed as probable for this game as he continues to work his way back from that calf. And Peyton Watson dealing with a groin issue, he's probable as well. So it looks like we're going to see the full strength Nuggets, and the odds makers think that too. They've got Denver at -5.5. We've got an over/under of 238. The Warriors are 6-5 against the spread on the road. They are 10-9 to the over. Denver 3-5-1 against the spread at home. They are 12-6 to the over. With a total there of 238, I think that's too much. I would lean more towards the under than anything, but not a spot I love. I would definitely think this would be a good chance for the Warriors to bounce back if it wasn't for that Draymond injury. So I guess by default here, give me the Nuggets at -5.5, but it feels a little bit rough. We got to wait for some more injury news. If we find out one way or the other on Draymond, that could swing things a lot. So make sure you're checking back that pinned comment before you are, doing anything too serious with this one. Definitely still some injury news we need to know. Next up, we're looking at the Houston Rockets. They're going on the road to take on the Sacramento Kings. The Rockets come into this game 15-6 on the year, having a hell of a season so far, fresh off of a 119-116 dogfight of a win there against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So a very nice win there. Fred VanVleet played great in the win, putting up 38 points. He was 13 of 14 there from the free throw line, so I guess the refs are paying attention to all his moaning and whining, but he was also 5 of 9 there from 3. A good game for him, only 3 assists. He was scoring out there. Alperen Sengun, another amazing night from him. 14 rebounds, 20 points, 9 assists. Just very good stuff up and down the roster. The bench for this team looks a little bit thin, not going to lie, but I'm not really sure what they can do about that at the moment. They did have a nice free throw advantage there in the win, a nice rebounding advantage, so we'll see if they can carry that over here. I mean, they come into this game looking relatively healthy. I'm surprised to see it, guys. I mean, Jalen Green definitely looked like he tweaked something. I would be shocked if he's actually at 100% for this game, but apparently he's good to go. Apparently he's ready to play, so maybe everything will be fine there. We'll see how that goes. They're going on the road to take on the Sacramento Kings, who are having a rough season, only 9-12 overall. They've actually lost, 6 of their last 7. They come into this game fresh off of that 127-125 heartbreaker there against the Spurs. And to me, guys, it feels like the Sacramento Kings got worse by adding DeMar DeRozan. I think DeRozan on his own, a pretty solid player, but a lot of the numbers he's put up over the course of his career have come on losing teams, at least, in recent memory. 28 points, 0 of 1 from three-point range. The dude just needs he had 8 assists. He does some positive things. They had a great day, crushing the Spurs on the boards, but they just couldn't defend the three-point line well enough, and they didn't take enough threes of their own. Only 32, probably not going to get the job done there. So not loving what we saw from the Kings. I mean, Malik Monk in the starting lineup, 19 points from him. That feels good. But they need him in the, in the second unit. They need him back there. They need that production. So I don't know, guys. It's tough. Hard to figure out what's going to go wrong, what's going to go right here for the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, a little bit of a struggle there with his shot, but coming into this game, they're relatively healthy. Kevin Huerter, the only guy that's going to be out for this one. Other than that, they're healthy and ready to go. We see the Kings getting 2.5 points here playing at home. We've got an over-under of 224. Houston, 6-3 against the spread on the road. Sacramento, 2-8-1 against the spread at home. We've got basically no trends towards the over-under here. I don't know, guys. It kind of feels like we got to take the Rockets at -2.5 on the road. I don't love it, but Sacramento's been bad at home. They've been having a rough season. The Rockets are playing great right now. Might be time to, just go ahead and close your eyes. Take the Rockets here to get the win and cover. Maybe a slight lean towards the over as well, but I just think this is a good spot to go with Houston. I think Alperen Sengun and Fred VanVleet have another good game loaded up. Last but not least, guys, we're looking at the Portland Trailblazers. They're going on the road to take on the LA Clippers. The Trailblazers come into this game losers of 3 out of their last 4, fresh off of a 137-131 loss there against the Mavs in Luka's, return to action from that sprained wrist. We saw, some good things, definitely some encouraging signs here from Portland. 22 points from Sharp, Anthony Simons, 27 points. He continues to ball out. Definitely some good things, maybe some questionable things. Jeremy Grant definitely not playing great, but definitely good assist numbers in the game. They struggled on the boards a bit, it would look like, but I mean, they actually ended up having a rebounding edge, so not too bad. They shot the lights out from 3. If you make 18 of 31 threes and still manage to lose the game, you were doing something wrong out there. So we'll see if they can bounce back a little bit. Obviously, the 21 turnovers is something to work on. So, yeah, Portland, not a team that's trying to win this season. They are trying to tank things out. And in terms of their injury report, guys, we see Scoot on there. We see Robert Williams III on there. Donovan Clingan on there. This is not a team that's looking to push guys to play. I mean, Scoot dealing with that quad is questionable for this game. And yeah, just overall, I don't know if I see amazing things coming from Portland here, despite them being relatively healthy going on the road to take on the Clippers. 13-9 for the Clippers this year, not looking horrible, coming off that 126-122 win against the Nuggets. They've played a bit of a tough schedule recently, kind of depends on how you value the Timberwolves, but we saw some good stuff there from, obviously continued good stuff from James Harden. 6 of 15 from 3, though. That seems a little excessive, but as a team, they did shoot 46.2% from long range. That makes a huge difference. They had a rebounding edge, so that's got to feel good. They turned the ball over 14 times. That's not the end of the world. Very good stuff there from Norman Powell. He's back. He looks fine coming back from that hamstring, so that's good. And yeah, Terrence Mann playing well off the bench. Coffee playing well off the bench. Just a lot of positives right here for the Clippers. A team that a lot of people had written off, I think, is playing pretty darn good right now. We do see Kevin Porter Jr. on the injury report, guys. Apparently, he is going to be out for this game. So, yeah, he's not going to be back. It's an ankle injury. That's going to happen. He'll be back sooner rather than later, though. Other than that, a very healthy team. So, looking at the numbers, the Clippers are -8.5. We've got an over-under of 219. Portland, 6-4-1 against the spread on the road. They are 12-8-1 to the under. The Clippers, 8-4 against the spread at home and 13-8-1 to the under themselves. Kind of significant trends here towards the under. 219 is not a high total, so taking the under here isn't super appealing to me, but I would understand if you wanted to do it. I think the Clippers here at -8.5 is a decent value. Harden is absolutely cooking. He's usually an equal opportunity cook. Anybody can get it, and I think there's a decent chance we see the Blazers get it in this one, but maybe not necessarily a huge lock of a spot. We'll be on this game, but maybe in a little bit of a light way. So definitely give me the Clippers here as we round out this slate. That's all the games we have for today. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. We will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.